And boom, that was a perfect transition to what we were talking about here because it wouldn't be a podcast without recouping and going over some of the Bears practice, OTA, mini
Yeah,
camp, whatever it is now.
finish up with
Anyways,
some of this.
yeah, just a little bit of brief, just a little tiny segment to
So
throw up on the YouTube there.
yeah, the one thing I will say, which is funny because is I've heard a lot about how like all of the coaches are like just surprised by how well Justin Fields is performing, and I'm like, yeah, that's because you guys have had to watch Mitch Trubisky for 4 straight years play terribly, and so like when you actually get a good talented quarterback in, you go, wow, he can complete that pass. Quarterback or do quarterbacks make that pass? And you go, yes, that's what quarterbacks do, and you go, wow, can't believe that.
Yeah,
And it's like, yeah, that's what happens when you get a good quarterback that actually has the talent and ability to complete throws on an NFL level. That's what happens. So
and so in terms of completing throws on NFL level, this was a picture of Darnell Mooney when he was asked in a press conference about Justin Fields and how his performance had gone and the deep ball. And the quote that goes along with it was, "It's a deep ball, man. He knows where he wants to put it, and it's very accurate. Great player, great person as well," which is such a funny anecdote to
yeah,
put on the end because of how
that's because
many
Darnell
people are
Mooney
drooling over him right now.
that's because Darnell Mooney was so good last year, and that doesn't even hold the fact that like he literally got overthrown on every deep ball he tried to run. Like the
Yeah.
amount of deep balls that there's videos on the internet on YouTube of just compilations of Darnell Mooney just outrunning or outskill the defender, and then he's wide open 40 yards down the field, and the ball's like underthrown or overthrown or just I don't know, not even in the frame because who knows where they were throwing the ball. So like it's absurd. This is what happens. Like I said, this is what happens when everybody finally gets a quarterback that can play very well. One of my favorites is a guy. Oh, of course now I'm not gonna be able to think of his name. From NBC Sports, they they just let him go, which was rough because I loved that podcast when he was on there. But uh, he basically had a tweet that was like, so in practice today, one quarterback for the Bears was really good, one quarterback was really bad. In unrelated news, Justin Fields has a cannon, and I was like, yeah, it's like that's pretty much what it is. It's pretty much that Justin Fields is every bit the talent and great quarterback that we know he can be, and we'll absolutely can't wait to watch. It's just funny that like literally every player is like, oh, this is what it means to have a quarterback. I cannot the person I'm most excited for is Allen Robinson because I'm excited for Allen Robinson to not have any more to catch the ball from Blake Bortles or Trubisky, which are the two quarterbacks that throw him the ball the most, which is
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
talk about guys that are underappreciated and underrated. It's freaking Allen Robinson, who literally has put up number one receiver Pro Bowl level numbers every year with, like I said, the majority of his receptions coming from Blake Bortles and Mitch Trubisky. And
yeah.
where are both of those players? Oh, they're backups for random teams because who cares?
And
Like,
just to put off another quote on the side of things I've never heard when Trubisky was in practice was from Bears running back Damian Williams, another underrated addition, hopefully. He threw
yeah.
a ball in cover two coverage, just a little hole shot that you have to get into, back shoulder. It was beautiful. And that was also from Justin Fields. And I've never heard that before. I've never heard all the coverages called out in actually precise throws that were thrown to actually break through that coverage. So that's great to hear, too.
Yeah,
God,
I
there's so
mean, like I
many of
said,
these. There's so many.
it's so funny to watch because it's just we've been so starved as an organization, a city, a media for a quarterback that can perform at a normal NFL level. And the fact that we even have a quarterback making NFL throws is just blowing everybody's minds because we just haven't seen it. It's literally been years and years and years. The last time I saw NFL throws be made was Jay Cutler. And, it's like I don't even blame, again, as a Bears fan, I don't even blame Jay Cutler for the time he spent here. The only problem Jay Cutler had was that he was too cocky. But the rest of it, I mean, he was literally getting sacked all the time, had nobody to throw to, and we were just like, all right, Jay, go out there and get killed and try to make something happen to win a game. And Jay, of course, went out and did his best. And I honestly was like sad to watch because I felt bad for him for most of the time. So
Yeah.
the fact that we have a quarterback who's playing consistently well in practice and showing what an NFL quarterback should look like is great. And that alone gives me hope for the season. So
It would be wrong to go without saying. In 7-on-7s, Andy Dalton got picked off 3 times today. Now, is that something that really is super important? No, doesn't have to be, but it's just kind of fun to juxtaposition it to what
yeah, but
Justin Fields is
it's
doing.
yeah, but it's also an indicator of like it's so one, you don't want to you don't want to get overreacting because he's learning the offense just like Justin Fields. It's not an offense he's familiar with. He's never ran this offense before, so he's learning and is almost like a rookie, just like Justin Fields. So the fact that he threw 3 picks, yes, that's a little scary because I mean, 3 picks is not great for any practice or situation, but you also have to understand too fully that um it's a it's early and they're learning the playbook and it's not the end of the world. So,
Yeah.
but I do think it's hilarious that Justin Fields is basically the quarterback and professional that we all thought, we could get out of every quarterback we've ever had, and so we're all shocked by a quarterback that can just make normal throws.
And in terms of that, let's see some of those throws because I think we actually have some footage that maybe won't even get DMCA that's on here, just some OTA
Yeah.
passes. And I think this is probably going to be, if not the last thing that we're going to end on, so we had an
Yeah, this
extra
is gonna be
long
where we
edition.
end.
We got
End
to
on a
get to
good
bed.
note.
Yeah, something to look forward to the future. So let's take a look at a couple of these passes and just get used to hopefully seeing more of these in the next podcast and in the future as well. I think this
Oh,
covers
look
all
at
the
that.
frame and everything.
God, that's so beautiful. I mean, even that throw was great. I just like, oh, look the
Caught in
just the
motion.
accuracy, the actual touch, the ball getting there right where it should be. It's just nice to watch. Nice to watch for the first time, and who
Oh,
knows how
these ones
long.
are widescreen, but yeah, you could see some of these. You could see most of the throws from here.
Look at that throw.
Boop, little dart.
Yep,
There's a
that
couple
was
of these that are
nice.
pointed out too. Khalil Herbert, Dalton, and Justin Fields 1-on-1 there.
Hmm.
Damn, how much of this video is in widescreen?
That's okay.
I'm just gonna do this because whatever. There we go.
I also love everything that Justin Fields has been saying and everything he's been doing. Like the mentality that he has and everything he's just saying is just what you want. It's what you want out of your quarterback. Just everything. His quote that he came out and said that, if if you're not trying to win a starting job, then why are you here? Like that's fantastic. That's what I want out of my, you know,
Look at these.
that's what I want out of my quarterback. Um, things like that, things like him just, basically being a leader and talking and everything like that. Like I want Andy Dalton to start still because I think what people miss is like people are like, "Oh, you need to start Justin Fields right away. He's the better quarterback." And it's like, yeah, but let's also give Justin Fields a couple games to still continue to pick up the offense. Like he needs to learn the offense before he gets thrown in with the Wolves. So let that happen naturally rather than, in a panic state like it could be.
Yeah. My
So,
God, look at some of the touch on these. I love it.
oh yeah, the ball's beautiful. It's like, oh, it's great. It's fantastic. It's so much fun to see a quarterback actually make good throws and wear a Bears uniform because that hasn't happened in
You
a
just
thousand years.
even see it coming out of his hand and stuff on some of the deep balls, which they threw a lot of bombs. They had a lot of footage of like bombs that were being thrown down the field. That was kind of funny. Like
Yeah.
that one from
Well,
Dalton,
it's because
obviously.
they run the slants and they run the out routes and the all the non-flashy routes that you would see in a game. They run those constantly in practice, and I'm sure he's performing well in them. It's just one of those where they're not flashy. People want to see the deep throw.
Yeah, and
So
it's fair to say too. Justin Fields had I think 2 fumbles when he was coming out of the shot or coming out of center, which I understand he is a primarily shotgun quarterback, so that's not really a big thing to be worried about at
no,
all.
and you also have to gain chemistry and you know build a camaraderie with your center and everything, timing, because it's so quick the way it needs to happen in the NFL that like it's not surprising that he would have some issues as far as timing and things when coming out of the center or coming out from underneath the center because it's such a quick, it's like a field goal kick. When field goal kick, less than, it's like 1.7 seconds or something from the fact that when the ball snapped to when it's kicked. It's the same kind of thing with a snap. It happens so quickly that there's the chemistry issue, there's where the ball's going to be placed, where the laces are placed, when the snap comes, when you snap it, because you have to basically time yourself. You have to basically sync yourself with the timing that the center goes by, his reaction time. So it's just, there's a lot that goes into that. So that's not surprising. And that's why you do these, that's why you do OTAs. That's why you do a training camp. That's why you do a preseason. It's to work out all those kinks. So not surprising.
Yeah.
And not worry.